antenna bands. Basically, how you take the phone apart is from this guy. Of course, it's non-removable, whereas on this guy, you can take it out, replace the battery, even add an SD card up to 8 gigabytes. A clear advantage the iPhone had was a headphone jack built into the phone. You don't need an adapter. Well, take that back. You actually do need one. So it was recessed. This was in order to keep other people from using headphones with it. Only Apple branded headphones would fit in here. We do have a machined Apple logo that stemmed and inspired the later iterations, which is very nice. So very simple and clean design. This one definitely, I don't know, it definitely conforms to your hand. It does feel pretty comfortable, but it's creaky, plasticky. It's just not the same design and build quality wise. Now, because I am on the original version of Android, there is no on-screen keyboard. That only came in later versions. If you try and select an input field, nothing really happens. So you do have to go into landscape mode every single time. And take note, this is in 2008, so you really didn't get a choice. You had to use the physical keyboard. Later on, they realized, well, that's not such a great idea if I want to compete with Apple, so they put an on-screen keyboard on the display. But it was tiny, it's a little bit more cramped. This one definitely felt more natural. And ever since the beginning, well, you can type on the iPhone display. And the interesting thing is, this isn't even the original design of the first Android phone. That one was a little different because when the iPhone came out, I actually was reading about an interview. A lot of the Android executives, the people that were planning the original Android phone, just lost all hope. There was no way their crappy BlackBerry ripoff could compete with the iPhone. So they had to go ahead and reimagine and bring this beautiful design instead. So while the iPhone may have led in the hardware race, I gotta give it to Android when it comes to software. It was just so much more advanced. Let's start at the lock screen. So what is the point of a lock screen? Just an area to see your notifications, to get a little sense of what's going on before you enter the phone. And both did it pretty well, but the funny thing is, on the first version of Android, you couldn't use an iOS or iPhone OS at the time. You couldn't use a wallpaper on the background of the home screen. So why that is, that reverse effect, who knows? But of course, we have the famous slide to unlock, and I gotta say, I think the iPhone did that so much better. It's iconic, it's recognizable. It's sad that it's gone now, but it was so nice at the time. Here you just have to click a button. It's not the same. Eventually, they added a slide to unlock, but on the first version of Android, it was just a click. So to unlock, we do have a choice of what we want, passcode, a pattern. So this was pretty cool. This was a big iconic feature of Android. So if I can get this working, there it is. Now, what would an iPhone be without a lock screen bypass? This is so funny because I will show you the very first lock screen bypass in existence that shipped with the original firmware on the iPhone. This is seriously too funny. So I just showed you guys one on iOS 10.2 a little bit ago. Here's the very first one that ever existed. So you have a passcode. How do you get into the phone and actually use so much inside of it without it? Just go to emergency call, hold the power button, and while you're doing that, just call 911 or 112 and click done on here. This will slide down, click cancel, and it didn't work this time. Let's try it again. So 112, call, and once again, there you are. So you're in the contact. So what can you do from here? You can make calls. You can actually go into the Messages app. You can go into Maps. You can go into Safari. You can literally do anything. As long as you go in here and type in an email, you can even go into email. You could bypass the passcode on the first version of the iPhone. And by the way, look, I'm in the browser right now. If I go back, I'm at the lock screen. I think we're a bit spoiled when it comes to our phones nowadays. We just take for granted what we didn't have back in the day. A lot of kids that are watching this or now that are growing up knowing the phones that are out today, you guys probably never had any idea that you couldn't even have Pages on the original version of iOS or iPhone OS. I keep mixing those up. You literally could not move your apps. When you click the